Hey guys, what's up? I got a letter. I got a letter today from my good buddy Keith Dempe from Eternal Darkness Creations in where's it? Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. So, so kind of a long one. So be prepared. I'm gonna just jump right into this. Hey Artie, how are you? I hope all is well out your way. Thank you so much for the mighty new Night of the Bloody Tapes, and also for the fucking killer, the Real Savages story. I always enjoy when people I know do something like that, and then I get to read it. Sort of like a view into your head, you know? I already know you from years of trading and writing and stuff, but it just completes the picture. Also, it's an excellent story. That's what artwork is supposed to be. Someone's brain just poured out onto some kind of canvas, be it artwork, music, or with a printed word. Very cool, brother. I really love the new issue of Night of the Bloody Tapes. You reviewed a bunch of movies that I've actually seen. I saw So I Married an Axe Murderer at the theaters. I remember thinking it was hilarious at the time, but then I saw it years later and I thought, yikes. Haha. Your review on that was fucking spot on. I was transferring some VHS to DVD-R, and one of the movies in it was Desperate Living. I had never seen it before. That was so warped. So warped that it was upsetting, you know? I love when movies can achieve that sort of feeling. It's very visceral. John Waters is awesome. Did you ever see Mansfield 66, 67? He's interviewed in a lot of that, and he's fucking hilarious. I wanted to ask you what exactly got returned to you from me. I just want to keep an eye out on that because the post office here isn't exactly burning up the road here with customer satisfaction lately. Do you happen to remember what the return sticker said? Just if you happen to remember, if not, it's no big deal, but I'm sorry about that. Paying a lot of money for EPs is something I always find hard to do. Something about paying a lot of money for 2 or 3 songs just rubs me the wrong way. But I found the new Death SS Suspiria 7 EP for 25, so I ordered it. Apparently, somewhere around Warrendale, the package was destroyed. Their words. And all that I received was a chunk of the outer packaging with the form letter apology. I was on a really good streak there at the post office, at least to my knowledge, but I think the streak is over. Sorry about getting this stuff returned. You mentioned wanting to do your covers with the way I do mine, but in your way. First off, I can't tell you how nice that was to hear. I'm honored, sir. That's actually what the underground should be about. Taking what someone else does and doing it in your own style. That's what makes getting real underground releases worth collecting the most, I think. You've totally succeeded in that. With your artwork and the way you design and package your tapes, it's a fucking killer style all your own. I love getting your stuff on my mail order for that very reason. Also because they rule, but that's besides the point. Haha. Thank you for that though. That means a lot coming from you. I respect your opinion above anyone else I know. But I'm sure you remember back in the late 1990s, everyone was doing those new print fanzines from the small publishers co-op. Most having a print run in the thousands, but most having little or no real underground value. Not to mention some of the editors have no business having a zine at all. But that's another story. So many zines look exactly like the others, there was no differentiating them from one another. I think that really killed respect for the underground movement. Like I mentioned earlier, taking something you like already and doing it your own way. Releases like Night of the Bloody Tapes really restore the value of the phrase do it yourself. That's what it's all about. You were asking about the area around here. One of the war zones I was talking about, McKee's Rocks. There's a really nice new music hall there called the Roxian. I haven't been in it, but the bus goes past it every day. The Coraopolis postmaster went to see the psychedelic furs there. My buddy Tim teaches guitar at this huge music equipment store next to it called Hollywood Music. I guess a lot of the bands end up there looking around at stuff before the show. He got to hang out with Anvil and Cannibal Corpse. The thing is, he's been telling me that stuff is shit since I used to bring over my Venom albums to listen to at his house in the 1980s. The last time I saw him, I got into his car and he was listening to Cannibal Corpse. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I probably told you this Coraopolis story, but it bears repeating. This is really good right here. That Netflix show, Mindhunter, parts were filmed here. I guess because if you move the cars off the streets, Coraopolis looks the same as it did in the 1970s when the show was set. I got Netflix now, and I go over the shows just to see Coraopolis shots. Haha. The old municipal building ends up in a lot of shots. Also interesting about the old municipal building is it is a huge gaming club now, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. This town is really on an upswing. No, I haven't heard of Awakening Records yet, but there are indeed many great newer labels from China. Have you ever heard of Area Death Productions? They do all these killer anthology releases that just blow my mind. Most notably, Mosh Till Vomit by Schizo, and one of my all-time favorite records, Behind the Gravestone by Black Hole. Another good label over there is Huang Quan Records. I discovered this label through eBay, but I can't find the guy now, but he apparently was acting as a representative from the label over here in America for a while, a year or so back. They do really cool legacy type reissues. The one that most impressed me was their reissue of Necropolis Contemplating Slaughter. Really great stuff. Speaking of eBay, I've been buying a lot from this one fellow who transfers old 1980s VHS tapes onto DVD-R. I wanted to make you a couple of things I've gotten from him recently that I hope you don't already have. I've always wanted that Queensryche Live in Tokyo video. Even if you're not a huge Queensryche fan, this concert is killer. I also just found this Black Mark compilation DVD somewhere. On it is a hidden track by Aggressor that's really worth looking for. Another McKee's Rock connection. On the tour Queensryche is on the live video, they played at this shitty club that's now a strip joint. It held probably a maximum of 100 people. Mancini's Lounge. The bus goes by there every day, too. You get on the bus in Coraopolis to Pittsburgh, you get the full money. They had to shut the club down for music shows back before the Possessed Dark Angel show in January 1987, but they used to have some ragers. I better cut the chatter, as this is going on later than I've wanted it to already. Thank you so much for the new Not of the Bloody tapes, and for the plug, too, and the Real Savages story. Excellence, brother. I hope you're doing well out there, and I hope you have a killer holiday. Take care for now, my friend. Your friend, Keith. Whoa, that was a long one, huh? Yeah, man, Keith is a great guy. He's one of the best underground metal tape labels in the world. I'm listening to his Mutilated Souls right now. So I'll put his address. Yeah, just write to him. Get that Slayer that Hell No Longer Awaits. Send him $3. Ask for that Slayer Hell No Longer Awaits tapes. He knows what you're talking about. And now I'm going to review a movie. Oh my god. We're tired. I'm tired. Okay, so I'm going to review a Bad Moon from 1996. I guess I don't have the book. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So I watched Bad Moon because, well, not only, but I got the Thor novel that it's based on, and I listened to there's a podcast called The Movie Dumpster, and they did a review. They did a book to movie review of it, and listening to that, you should listen to their review of it, because that's what made me want to watch it again, and that's what made me order the book, actually. So if you haven't seen Bad Moon, it's from 1996, and it stars Michael Pare, Mariel Hemingway, the little kid from the Dennis the Menace movie, which I saw in the theater, and Primo the dog, who plays Thor. So I remember renting this when it came out. I missed it in the movies, 96. I was 21 then. And for some reason, new horror movies just, at that time, I don't know what it was. It was just something that was happening that I sensed, but didn't know exactly what it was. They just weren't as good anymore. And I'd have to look it up, but look at what else came out at that time that I really liked. But all I can think of is Army of Darkness, which I can't remember what year it came out in off the top of my head. I remember seeing that in the theater with my friends, and that was awesome. But I can't think of anything else other than a very few foreign horror films that I had had seen. Again, Day of the Beast comes to mind. But anyway, I rented Bad Moon, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, but like I said, horror movies, it's just about a family and a monster. There's nothing really deep about it or that horrific. But watching it again, it's really good. Um, oh man, I gotta go to sleep. So it's written and directed by Eric Red. Eric Red wrote the screenplay for The Hitcher, Near Dark. I mean, those two are awesome alone, but he's directed. He also directed Body Parts, if you've seen that. But I just finished Bad Moon today, and the werewolf looks awesome. He's the way the werewolf looks is reason to watch it alone. But other than that, the movie's pretty good. It's not a gore fest, but there's like, oh well, I mean, it kind of is actually, but it's not over the top, like gruesome gore or like funny, crazy, outlandish stuff. It's just brutal. The very first scene, Michael Pare is banging his girlfriend, and I thought it was for years. I thought it's Jane March. It's Jane March that Pare is banging. But I looked it up, and it's not. It's I wrote Johanna Marlowe, and goddamn, she's a hot piece of ass. You gotta see it for the werewolf and for her. Whoever this girl is, I really didn't. I looked her up, but I didn't really see what else she's been in. But man, she's smoking hot. Oh my god. So Michael Pare, he's Uncle Ted. His girlfriend gets killed by a werewolf, and he gets bitten. So now he's a werewolf, and he thinks love can kill the demon. So he goes visits his sister Mariel Hemingway, and her son Dennis the Menace, and Thor, the German Shepherd Thor. And so every night he goes and he'll handcuff himself to a tree and turn into a werewolf. But Thor knows knows something's up, and he follows him one night, and you see the werewolf like handcuffed to the tree. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, whoa, it looks huge. And in that movie dumpster review, they pointed out its eyes. They said it had big eyes, but it really doesn't. But there's something about the eyes that it's just a bestial, monstrous predator. And it looks really scary. I don't think it's as big as it looks. It just looks huge. So, eventually, there's a showdown with the mom, Dennis the Menace, and Thor, and it was really good. Thor and the werewolf fight, and watching it again, it was really good. This is probably one of the best werewolf fights. Even like, I don't know how to compare it to like, because Underworld is in the back of my mind, because in the Rise of the Lycans they look awesome in there too. But yeah, it was really good. You gotta see it. I never really thought about how big German Shepherds can get, because I remember watching it and so there's no way a German Shepherd could take on a werewolf. But now, like, German Shepherds, and they're powerful. There's a part where the dog charges the werewolf and it knocks the shit out of the. Like, it's a guy in a costume and it knocked the shit out of him. Like, you see it, I was like, that's not fake. So that was really good. Oh my god, I need to go to sleep. So, okay, I need to read the book now and do a review of that. So the book is totally told from the dog's point of view. So it's got to be completely different. But watching Bad Moon, yeah, I would give it a good 4, because it's about a dog. The werewolf looks awesome. The few moments of gore and violence are really good, and the stuff that Eric Red has done before, written The Hitcher and Near Dark, it's definitely worth a look. All that just adds up to a 4. So if you haven't seen Bad Moon or read the book, dude, I paid $50 for this on Amazon because it's torn, I guess. Amazon's going for 300. There's no way I would ever, like, 50 is my limit for a book, I think. And who knows, maybe I'd go a little higher, but it's the most I've ever paid for a book. So I'll read this soon. It's actually like a young adult novel. But yeah, if you haven't seen Bad Moon, or if you haven't seen The Wild, I totally recommend it. Give it a watch. Find the book, buy it, let me know what you think. Later.